I have a plan for you. It's gonna take over China and increase the maths, the science, and the culture.
Sir, what about outside China?
Outside of China, you say?
You saw that? With the advent of short-form content and TikTok, it appears as if the first era of social media is coming to an end. Many people disregard short-form content and especially TikTok as an app. But I'm here to explain why short-form content is here to stay and how TikTok will be the social media platform of the future, even though you hate it and even though it is actually rotting your brain. This year, TikTok has been averaging more than 1 billion monthly active users. And what's more is that the time spent on TikTok is going up and up despite the pandemic already being over. When TikTok first became prominent, it was fantastic at capturing your attention for 5, 10 or 15 minutes with its addictive viral videos. But it had a problem. Users weren't sticking around for that long. But today, they are. As everyone began to stay home during the pandemic, TikTok's downloads jumped 51% year over year. And in 2022, TikTok became the most downloaded app in the world. Think about this, and this is insane. The average user today opens TikTok 8 times a day and spends 25.6 hours a month in the app. That is more than the average for Facebook and Instagram. TikTok has definitely grown faster than anyone could have imagined, and as of June, TikTok is predicted to earn $12 billion in advertising revenue. The interesting thing is that just in the 6th year of their operations, they would have surpassed the $10 billion mark, a feat that took Facebook more than 10 years and YouTube 14 years. Instagram and Twitter, they're both just about halfway there. Yes, this company's success is astounding, and what's even more astounding is that in 2022, TikTok even overtook Google to emerge as the most popular domain in the world. Can you imagine being larger than Google? You see, TikTok is really winning because it's a consequence of our attention span decreasing. Our attention span now is less than 8 seconds, which is actually less than that of a goldfish. It is safe to say that most long-form content, hopefully not ours, but most long-form content is being dethroned by short-form and TikTok, even though you and I don't like it. Now, it's not just our attention span that is the sole reason for this. It has to do with how the algorithm of TikTok has pivoted our feed into a hit-driven format. And this is the big difference with how social media used to work many years ago and today. So when Instagram decided to pivot into short-form content, the Kardashians got upset. They started putting up stories and posts about how they're feeling threatened and about how Instagram should go back to being a social media platform. All social media feeds are starting to become hit-driven. Twitter has always been hit-driven. YouTube, the reason for us growing very fast is because on almost every video in the last couple of months, we have been pulling more number of views than our subscriber count at that particular time by the end of life of the video. And the reason for this is because YouTube does not care any longer how many followers you have. If you can't produce quality content, if you can't retain the user, if you can't get them to click, it does not care about you. What it does is that in the first few seconds of the video, TikTok does this within 6 seconds, YouTube takes a little bit longer, it will figure out whether this video is worth watching. How much attention are you gaining? If you have gained the attention of 30 people, then it will push it out to 100. If you gain the attention of 100 people, it pushes it out to 2000. It keeps increasing the size and the diversity of the audience in every wave. So the old version of social media could not do that very quickly. Today's version of social media can all do that. That is why every video you need to put out needs to be a hit, and every video to the audience is an instant dopamine hit because they are the best content that you can probably get because of how the algorithm works. Let me put this into context. Let me tell you the 4 eras of media. First, it was newspapers and magazines, which Facebook dethroned as it was way more entertaining to see Friends news than random news. Which brings me to Instagram, which killed Facebook as people were finding influencers like the Kardashians way more interesting because your friends are not as interesting as what's happening in the Kardashians' lives. Your friends can't compete with them. Today, it's TikTok, a giant talent show with an algorithm that is even more entertaining than influencers. That's right, influencers were fun, influencers were creative, but the algorithm, even if you are not somebody that's fun and not somebody that's creative, if you produce one hit, you are in the algorithm, never to be seen again. But to the end user, they are seeing the top 10 hits from everybody. Ultimately, whether we follow these people or not, we have provided the greatest hits related to our areas of interest. I mean, think about it. Obviously, the Kardashians seem to have an interesting life. That is what other people think. I don't watch them. But the finest or the best, America's funniest home video, or a cat doing something funny will always outperform a Kardashian in terms of entertainment per second. And this brings us to TikTok. TikTok was made with the very intention of surprising its users every few seconds. A real human, an influencer like the Kardashians or anybody, cannot keep up with entertaining you every single second. We're human, we tire out. But the algorithm is crowdsourcing all the humans and will never tire out. One of TikTok's key features today, for example, is that it requires no account sign up. New users download the app and immediately begin consuming content. There is zero friction, there is zero learning curve. The only thing that you do is this and maybe hitting the like button. Most people don't even spend time on TikTok commenting. Every 15 seconds or so, the algorithm serves a new video and you get a new emotional high. Now, obviously, there are a lot of short video platforms. There's TikTok, there's YouTube Shorts, there's MX Takata, there's Instagram Reels. But what makes TikTok different is that it's designed differently. It doesn't show you multiple thumbnails or a bunch of stories where you're overwhelmed by choice. Because it's optimizing for entertainment per second, it only shows you one video only, and that video has been chosen by AI to make sure that you are getting every single second some dopamine being released in your brain. And in doing so, by removing stories and posts and all the other clutter, the algorithm gets much cleaner feedback about your sentiment. It's very simple. You don't even need to like, you don't even need to comment. If you're spending time on the video, TikTok knows that you have gotten value. And if you average enough people spending time on that video, your retention on the video, that is all that matters. If a video has super high retention, then that video will predictably go viral. And that's what's happening. This is why TikTok is also rotting your brain. Because when people realize that all that matters for the algorithm is having 100% retention, you start moving into more and more extremism. If earlier a creator would go and do a vlog and do something boring, talk about their life, now they're going out and risking their life. A lot of the viral videos that went viral on TikTok this year are all dangerous. For example, one of them was a parachuter whose parachute got stuck, did not open, and the entire death-defying, nail-biting journey that person had going from the top to coming down. Unfortunately, all the creators realized that and are now starting to risk their lives and go towards more gruesome, graphic stuff. Now you might think, why do these creators do this? Why risk your life? Why do more and more extreme things? Why say more and more extreme things? Why become an Andrew Tate and infuriate crowds? What's happening is that TikTok has provided the opportunity for any average person to become famous on their platform, have a chance, and get the opportunity to gain traction. You don't need any software, you don't need Premiere Pro, you don't need After Effects, you don't need anything to create on TikTok. It's so frictionless that 1 in 4 users on TikTok create content, while it might be 1 in 1,000 influencers on YouTube creating something. On TikTok, everybody has the chance and their best content is put together, so TikTok no longer needs any of the influencers. TikTok is killing the concept of an influencer because on TikTok, it's simply another day where someone posts slices of bread falling down in perfect sync, or MS Excel tricks, or hacks, or playing trick carom shots in perfect alignment and receives millions of views. The followers itself doesn't matter, but fame today is no longer about followers to most of these young creators. It's simply about the views. They are judged on views, brands judge them on views, everything is in the currency of views. According to Social Blade, over 39,000 TikTok profiles currently have more than 1 million followers, despite TikTok being much younger than YouTube and Instagram. The one thing as a creator that's really hard is to figure out what to create. Like after your first 10, 30, 40 videos, you run out of ideas. But on TikTok, this is not very difficult. You see, if you're presented with a blank canvas or a blank page, it's very difficult to come up with something as an artist. Most people really can't originate ideas. And TikTok understood this extremely well. If you want 1 in 4 people to create, understand that creativity itself stems from the remixing of ideas. There are no original ideas. You take an existing one and change it enough for it to be your own idea, and humans have been doing this for centuries. With its distribution and discovery page, TikTok put its trending stuff so out there that you can just press one button and remix someone else's idea. It's what Tanmay Bhatt does for a living. React to other people's already funny content and gain views from that instead of risking his life going out and doing vlogs. Therefore, it's not a surprise that most TikToks are actually duets and just variations of someone else's ideas.
ए भाई क्या हो गया?
My video suck, bro.
तेरे को इंडिया के टॉप वीडियो एडिटर बनना है? हाँ, 30 से 50,000 रुपए की मंथली सैलरी कमानी है? हाँ, इंडिया के टॉप यूट्यूबर्स के साथ काम करना है? हाँ, तो ज्वाइन एवी's अल्टीमेट वीडियो एडिटिंग कोहॉर्ट। ये क्या होता है? This is a 2-month long video editing cohort where you will learn everything from Premiere to After Effects, from YouTube to storytelling, with masterclasses by Abhinav Chikara and Varun Maya. The best part is we are a placement-friendly cohort with starting salaries from 30 to 50,000 rupees. But there's a catch. There are only 10% seats remaining, so you need to hurry up right now. Bro, but ये AVTV course मिलेगा कहाँ? The link is in the description. Check it right now.
Now here's where the plot thickens. As of March 2021, the Cybersecurity Administration of China has passed a new set of recommendation algorithm regulations that take significant steps in regulating how the technology can be used. In essence, China has complete control over the algorithm and on what you see. Now globally, TikTok has an algorithm which is actually completely different from the Chinese version of TikTok called Douyin, and it wants its youth to consume content featuring people having achieved great feats, kids excelling in math and science, people practicing martial arts. So the Chinese algorithm seems to be related to skill and social development, while the global algorithm is garbage. It is literally content that's rotting your brain. And that brings me to the main topic of this video, which is that there are 2 versions of TikTok, and the algorithm is a black box. We don't know what's happening inside it, but we do know through independent tests that the algorithm in China and the algorithm in the rest of the world is very different, and both versions have completely different goals. An algorithm is not just pure AI without margins or rules, and the rules in China seem to be favoring social and critical development of skills of their children, whereas across the world, it is to make the rest of the world dumber. And that's a pretty good strategy. Now I'm going to stop right there and not jump into conspiracy theory territory. But if I was, for a second, the chieftain of a country that called themselves a dynasty, then the best way or the best idea for me to shut down the development of other countries is to take control of information. It turned out that in war, the most important thing is not having better guns or better missiles. The most important thing in war is to have control over information. Now the data is very clear. Short form content is here to stay. You and I might not like it, but most of the world does. The data is so clear about this. The time on the app is too high. So if a content platform has to win, I would rather favor YouTube or even Instagram, who I don't like so much, to win because I know what the algorithm is doing. I know that across the world, the algorithm is universally the same. I know that YouTube doesn't have a completely different algorithm in the USA and a different algorithm for the rest of the world to make us dumber. But I know that TikTok has been proven multiple times of getting this wrong. Views seems to be the currency that everybody cares about right now. Brands seem to care about views. PR companies seem to care about views. Magazines care about views. Your friends probably care about views. But let me tell you one very interesting anecdote with us. 2 creators have given us a shout out in the past before. One was an Instagram reeler, and the other one was a YouTuber. And it turns out that even though both of them at the time of the shout out were roughly the same size, the person who has given us a shout out on YouTube got us 15,000 views, while the person on Instagram only brought us 700 views. In conclusion, attention is cheap these days. In fact, attention is getting more and more diluted. It's easy to grab, even easier to fake. But intention, loyalty, somebody who cares about what you're putting out, is very hard to do. It takes consistency, it takes purpose, and it takes connection with your audience. Which is why views should never be kept on the pedestal, and which is why you should focus on trying to consume as much long-form content as possible and break the addiction in your brain, which is short-form content. And if you are succumbing to short-form content, stay away from any platform whose algorithm is different in their home country and abroad.